Right.
You know?
I love
And
it.
everybody else will be
I know they're all
kind of good.
cool. Are we getting there?
Hey, everyone.
Hey, guys. We have Arlo here for episode. What is this episode?
Five?
This is
We're episode 5. Yes.
So yeah, we have Arlo. Tell me how to pronounce your last name. Gagestein.
Gagestein.
Gagestein. I've known this man for years, and I haven't known how to pronounce his name.
What's the where does that come from?
From the Netherlands. So my father immigrated from the Netherlands when he was 10 years old.
Wow, really?
But, yeah.
Your dad.
My dad.
Wow.
For sure.
That's crazy.
With his family or just
He came by himself.
I'm like, oh. I'm like,
Yes.
I'm assuming not by himself.
Wow.
Yes, with his family.
Wow. That is awesome.
Amazing. Very cool. Well, now I know how to pronounce it, so that's
There you go.
awesome. So we really wanted Arlo to come on the show because this man is super interesting, full of knowledge. He's a family man. He is a strength coach. He does massage therapy. He is an author of 2 amazing books. Just two?
Just 2.
2 books.
Yeah.
2 amazing books. And he's the owner of Competitive Edge Fitness and Nutrition, which is the gym that I train at. So we're super happy to have you.
I'm happy to
Yeah,
be here.
thanks for
having
coming.
me.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So let's talk about, like, first and foremost, accomplishments. Like, let's talk about, like, what brought you into all of these different things. Like, what got you to where you're at now? Like, what's been your expertise?
My expertise. I am kind of a jack of all things fitness and massage.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's just random chance that has gotten me here more than anything.
Really?
I tend to be going one direction and see something else that interests me, and I veer over here
Oh
and
my
then over
gosh.
there. And
We have that in common. I'm exactly the
Perfect.
same way. Yeah. So it's just you've been kind of pursuing your passion, and
Yes.
this is where
Yep.
you've ended up. Very cool. So you are the owner of Competitive Edge.
Yes.
Tell us what that is. What's Competitive Edge?
So Competitive Edge, I opened 15 years ago, and essentially it's a personal training studio that when we opened it, we kind of looked at what everyone else was doing and decided to do everything different than that. So
Right.
definitely not your traditional gym.
No.
And it's interesting as we go along, as the years pass by, I see more and more gyms open up that are similar to
Right.
what we're doing.
Yeah.
I worked at one for a little while.
But
Yeah.
initially, we were the only one that did it the way that we do.
Okay.
So-
Cool. So was this kind of like just thought provoked, like just an idea of yours, or did you see it somewhere else, or?
Kind of a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I was in employee wellness is what I was doing when we finally decided to open the gym, where I was working for an architectural firm, the one in the building actually.
Oh.
They had, at the time, they had about 100 employees
Okay.
in multiple offices, and I was kind of the fitness guy for the architectural firm, and people would come to me and ask me questions and have me
Okay.
design workouts. And
Yeah.
we collected excess gym equipment from anybody and everybody that worked there and put it in one room. And so we
That's
had
so
an
awesome.
on-site gym. And I was also training some people on the side, and more people started to encourage me, well, you should just do your own thing. And I'm easily persuaded, so I did.
That is so awesome.
So before we go into like more of that, I want to know about your background. I want to know where you came from and your childhood and
She wants
how
to know
you. I
everything.
want to know everything.
we want to know
Your
everything.
marriage and your children and how you got into fitness.
How old are you, Arlo?
I am old, very old.
He's not very old. He told me this last night.
So I am 42.
Which is the new 32.
Which is,
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Yeah,
That's
what I say.
both of you have told me, actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the only place I've heard it. But.
Okay, so something my dad lives by. He's in his 70s,
Okay.
and he always says, if I didn't know how old I was, I would think I was 25.
Nice.
That's something he says. So if you didn't know
I
how
like it.
old you are, how old would you be?
Well, some days I feel 80, 90, but
No.
I'd be
Wrong
75.
answer.
But for the most part, my mind is young.
Yeah.
I feel young.
Yeah.
And young and broken, is that a thing?
I mean, it is. Yeah,
Okay.
I think there's a lot of
Perfect.
young and broken people out there. So yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So back to my background.
Yes.
You might find this interesting. I don't think you have any idea. My entire life, I wanted to be a veterinarian because I loved animals and I pursued zoology and all of that kind of stuff. And that was my goal from the time I was a little kid. until I was in college. I was going to be a veterinarian, and I didn't even have any other ideas. Like, that's what I wanted to do.
Wow.
And then I started into zoology, and I started shadowing other veterinarians and decided, this really isn't what I want to do. And now I'm kind of up in the air. I don't know what it is that I want to do.
Right.
I played sports. I was playing volleyball up at Weber State and spending a lot of time doing that and a lot of time in the gym just trying to improve my own performance, and found it fascinating, just the way the body worked and all of that. And so just kind of transitioned from animal bodies to human bodies, and really just fell in love with human performance and strength and conditioning and that kind of stuff.
So cool.
Wow, we actually have a little bit in common then with that, because I wanted to be a vet too, and
okay.
I went and got my bachelor's degree in zoology.
Oh, nice! I didn't make it that far.
Yeah, well, but yeah, instead of going, I did the animal route, not the human route, but
right.
I ended up wanting to work for the DNR, and then wanted to be a genetic counselor, and now I'm just in nutrition. So
right.
I did not know either of these things.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Very cool.
So when did you meet your wife?
So this is another fun story. I knew my wife when I was in elementary school. She lived across the street from me.
Oh my heck.
And obviously I was a boy and she was a girl, so we didn't really have anything to do with each other. But I knew who she was, and she was nice. She lived across the street. Her mom wouldn't let her cross the street, so we never talked very much.
Hung out.
But
It's like one of those cute little love stories where you just wave at each other from across the street.
Yeah, that's so
Hi.
And so from there, I moved away, and I think it was 7th grade when I moved from South Ogden to Roy, and she was there a little longer than she moved also. And then after high school, I was working at Sandy's Fine Foods as a cook, and her family came into the restaurant, and I totally recognized her mom as my old neighbor. And I went out there to talk to him because I was excited to see him, and that's kind of where I ran into Amanda again, and things progressed from there. So
Awesome.
it actually took a while.
Is Sandy's the restaurant is it on 24th, 25th
It was
Street?
on 32nd.
Oh,
32nd
Oh,
and
okay.
Harrison, yeah. And they are no longer there. They
Yeah,
closed
I
a
was
few
like, I
years
don't know
ago.
what that is.
I'm thinking of a different one, but that's
Okay.
cool.
Okay.
That's cool. So you were in high school.
I had just graduated from high school probably, and I think she was either a junior or a senior. I can't remember. when we first connected again. She was probably a junior when I first met her. And then we found out we had a mutual friend in common, and so we started doing activities together. And she came to Mexico with us kind of last minute. Somebody dropped out on it. We were going on a service trip to an orphanage in Mexico. Somebody dropped out at the last minute, like within the week before we left, and Amanda came along in her place, and that's where we really got to know each other. So.
That's so cute. I love that.
And you have 4 kids?
We have 5 now.
5.
It was supposed to be 4, and we had twins. Yeah.
Wow.
They're little. Yeah.
Big surprise.
How old are they now? Are they 2?
They'll be 2 next month.
Oh my gosh.
Right. I remember
Crazy.
that.
Yeah. So, so were you aware that you were going to have twins right away? Like,
no,
how early
not
was
until
that?
the first ultrasound.
Oh.
The first ultrasound, I'm trying to remember, we probably went in, it was probably 14 or 15 weeks.
Okay.
When we
So
finally
pretty
went in.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that actually.
Yeah.
You were kind of shocked.
It was pretty wild.
Yeah. How was having twins as infants?
So it was terrible. No, I mean, they are absolutely awesome, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. They're so adorable, and they're so fun now, and they sleep through the night now, which is fantastic.
So nice.
That was the biggest thing. Like,
yeah,
as fitness people, we don't get enough sleep anyway. We're up early training people at 5 a.m.
Right.
Don't get to bed on time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I work, my wife works, so the only time we spend time together is after work once the kids are in bed.
Yeah.
So never get to bed on time.
No.
And then, for the first 16 months, I think, the twins did not sleep through the night. And there were 2 of them, and they wouldn't wake up at the same time. They'd wake up at different times.
Right.
So you're waking up 3 or 4 times a night with each one. It was just like I was a zombie for the first year, probably, and Amanda was as well.
I'm sure.
But yeah, beyond that, it's been awesome. Like, I love twins. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
So
but
much
that
fun.
was hard.
They'll always have somebody to play with.
Yes,
that's the big
for sure.
thing.
And they're the best of friends. They bicker and fight too, but they're always together and love each other.
Yeah.
So before you got the gym, so 15 years ago, what in that time frame, what were you doing before you decided to purchase the gym?
So I immediately before I was doing employee wellness for the
Yeah.
architectural
Okay.
firm.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I worked construction for the owner of the architectural firm, and before that, I cooked at the restaurant.
Oh, okay. So
Amanda. So I cooked. I did construction. I did office work for the architectural firm, then fitness stuff,
then moved
Yeah.
right into fitness.
and then opened the gym.
Yeah. So the gym wasn't originally on 29th Street in Washington.
No. So when we first decided to open up our own space, we started in the Skyline Medical Clinic in South Ogden. So we had the whole basement. Huge space, actually, like twice what we have now, easily.
Okay.
But it was kind of a weird feel, like doing personal training in that much space in 3,000 square feet almost. And you're there with one or two people, and it felt empty, and it was dark. It was in the basement.
Yeah.
Didn't see much natural light, so I like where we're at a lot better now.
Yeah. Yeah. You've been there since when? 2005?
It's 2005 is when I opened.
Oh.
January 2005.
Okay.
So it was probably, I think we were 4 years in the first location. We've been in this one for 11. So.
Okay. 11 years.
So awesome.
Yeah.
How fun.
Yeah. Very cool. So what about massage therapy?
So massage therapy started, I got into that because I was broken. Playing volleyball all the time, my shoulder always hurt. Like for the 3 or 4 years that I played, I couldn't sleep on my right side because my shoulder hurt all the time. And I'd done massage therapy and physical therapy, and nothing really seemed to make a difference. And one of my buddies, it was Brandon Johnson, actually. He was having issues as well.
Oh, really?
And he says, you have to go to this therapist, Nate Graven. And so I went.
Oh, you talk about Nate?
Yeah. So he was kind of my mentor therapist.
Yeah.
So I went to Nate Graven, and I walked out of there feeling probably 75% better after one session.
It's insane.
And it had been an issue for 4 years. I'm like,
so that's
whatever he's doing, I have to learn how to do.
Of course.
And so I hung out with Nate for a while, kind of just shadowed him while he did massages and learned from him. And he kept telling me, if you're ever going to do this on people, you need to get a massage therapy license.
Yes.
And so after a couple of years hanging out with Nate, I went to massage school and got licensed. And
that's so cool.
And that's how I got into it.
That's so cool. And so do you have a specific specialty in that?
Kind of. I do. Yeah, I do. But it's a blend of things. Like people always ask me, what style massage do you do? And I don't know what to tell them.
The good kind.
The good kind. Yeah.
The stuff
so it's it's myofascial release and structural integration. And I do some active release technique. And so a lot of different things.
So myofascial, can you touch on that? Like what's
myofascial release? So the idea is that everywhere in your body is fascia. It surrounds each individual muscle fiber and each individual group of fibers, each individual muscle. So fascia is the connective tissue that surrounds everything and holds everything together. And if not treated well, the fascia will kind of get stiff and stuck on each other. Like the surfaces of the muscles should slide, like fascia changes shape and form.
Right.
When it becomes unhealthy, it sticks. And then you have muscles that are supposed to slide back and forth past each other that don't. And then you have a compromised movement pattern. And so myofascial release is just trying to break up those adhesions.
Okay.
Try to get things moving the way that they should move.
So I have probably a stupid question. Would that be what lactic acid causes? Like when you have lactic? Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
So lactic acid actually clears out of the system really quickly.
Okay.
Like a lot of people will blame soreness on
like
lactic acid.
Yeah.
And it's a myth.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Myth.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, lactic acid definitely exists.
It's a thing. Yeah.
But it clears out really fast.
Yeah.
And that's not why they're sore. It's just delayed onset muscle soreness most of the time, just micro tears in the muscle tissue. And
okay,
stuff.
That makes sense.
So, would you say myofascial? Like I've had people ask me, is it like a deep tissue or is it deeper? Like what would you?
Not necessarily. So, it's similar to deep tissue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just in between the muscles.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to increase movement.
Yeah.
At the joints and between the muscles, where deep tissue, I mean, there's so many different modalities and styles of massage. Some people believe deep tissue is just really hard pressure, but there's a little more to it than that. Like
there's more behind it.
Yeah. So myofascial release is and structural integration is very.
What's that?
So structural integration. I'm trained as a structural integrator, but what that is, it is deep tissue, but it's very targeted. Like it's 10 sessions. Each session is an hour to hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then you have corrective stuff to do at home as well. But but you go superficial to deep. So you start,
Okay.
the first few sessions are pretty superficial, and every session that I work on somebody, we go deeper and deeper, and we focus on different parts of the body, like
Okay.
the lateral line, the core, the posterior chain. So
Gotcha.
each session is something different,
Okay.
but it all builds on each other, so that at the end of 10 sessions, we've hit everything.
Gotcha.
It's hard to get people to commit to 10 sessions.
Right. Yeah.
And so kind of what I do is I take all of the structural techniques and throw them into one less deep session, kind of. So I'm hitting everything more frequently whenever I see somebody, rather than focusing on one specific spot.
Okay.
I'm hitting whatever needs to be treated, and
Right.
then just doing that over and over. You can still progress and get deeper and deeper,
Gotcha.
but without the necessity of
10
taking
sessions
10
right
sessions.
off the- Yeah. That's hard.
And so structural integration is every week too. They recommend like once a week you come in for an hour and a half. And
Oh, gotcha.
so it's a huge commitment.
Right. That's huge. Yeah.
So the
for
people
sure.
that come in and do that, are they like athletes, or are they just your average Joe that
For
just
structural integration?
Yeah.
Anybody
does it?
Average Joe.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
I can attest to this. So what was it? 2 nights. So I got my massage on Wednesday. Was it Thursday?
Yes, it was Wednesday morning. Yeah.
Tuesday night, just by chance, I injured, what was it? My SI joint.
Yeah.
Like
I
my
think
SI.
tweaked your SI joint.
Yeah.
The glute medius flared up.
Yes. And it was kind of a slow onset. And then all of a sudden I couldn't even lift my leg. It was so bad. I didn't sleep. I mean, he did a quick little adjustment, which it helped me be a little bit more mobile. But he was with a client. I was with a client. So I go home, worst sleep of my life.
didn't sleep.
I did not sleep, and I was so uncomfortable, and I had to have Dustin help me like get dressed and all these things. I go in to see him yesterday morning. Was it yesterday morning?
Yes.
I was still a little tender throughout the day after our adjustment. I was still a little bit tender, just probably from inflammation. I woke up today like 100%. Just
nice.
No issues, no problems. I was lunging with Mr. Finesseology behind the camera lens back there. I forgot about it.
Good.
I was just lunging like I just completely forgot. So what he does is just magic. So
It is. I saw him last night for my neck and my lower back, and it feels really good today.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And actually, I started seeing Arlo a couple years ago because I had really bad wrist issues, and I don't have any
good
anymore.
Just gonna ask. I haven't heard about them.
I know.
In a while, so.
They've been fine since like you worked with me a couple years ago. It's been fine.
I don't remember though. So yeah, it's been a while.
I know. I complain when I'm hurting, so you would know. I would complain all the time, but yeah, they're fine now. So I mean, yeah. So I can definitely give some feedback there. So yeah, you pretty much work on anybody. You do see a lot of athletes though.
I do see a lot of athletes. Yeah.
So specifically, you do jiu-jitsu.
I do.
You touch on that. Like, what do you do with jiu-jitsu? Like, you do it as well as
right.
You train for it.
Yes. So I train. I train on my own at Maury Training Center in Ogden. It's behind the Newgate Mall, and then we meet at my gym at Competitive Edge once a week with Jeff Moore and a bunch of other guys, and we train there as well. And then I also teach jiu-jitsu for the Ogden City Police Department. Twice a week I'm at the police department teaching ground fighting for them.
So cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Awesome.
So is this something that they've requested from you, or how did this work?
It is, yes. Yeah.
They just wanted to learn.
Yep.
For defense, like just like
right
for functionality or for fun, like what?
For functionality.
That's so
so jiu-jitsu, essentially jiu-jitsu is primarily on the ground. Like you start standing, but the goal is to take down the other person, right. and then work for choke holds or submission holds, joint locks, that kind of stuff. Essentially, just trying to get them to give up.
Yeah, right.
and it's huge on positioning, which is awesome for police departments, for police officers. The main focus is controlling your opponent on the ground, which I'm sure you've seen a lot of videos,
right?
Of course, body cam footage and stuff where where police officers simply
Tackling,
can't
yeah.
control.
Right.
You have 3 police officers trying to control one suspect on the ground, and they can't do it.
Yeah.
And jiu-jitsu fixes that.
That's so cool.
I need to learn this.
I know.
Absolutely,
We
yeah,
need to do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I was thinking about it a couple years ago. We just need to clear up our schedules a little
I
bit.
know.
For sure.
How long have you been doing jiu?
So I've been
I don't even
doing
want to say it.
Jiu-jitsu.
jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu. I just say
So-
jiu-jitsu.
Right. So I've been training for about 12 and a half years.
Oh, that's
A
awesome.
little while.
So cool. I always know when you guys do it because the mats are out
Right.
in the morning.
So for those that don't quite know what competitive edge is, can you give a background as to what type of workouts you do and,
Yeah, definitely.
and why?
Yes. So the whole world was really big on bodybuilding style workouts when I started the gym. Like that's what was in all the magazines, and that's not what we do at all. We
So
do a
standard
little more
weights.
now,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
it's so awesome to have Farah at Competitive Edge
Yay.
because she meets a need that I couldn't provide. Like I've never done that style
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
of training. So
Right.
so for me, it's always been functional training, full body type stuff, focusing on movements instead of muscle groups, and that's pretty much how we do things.
But
Like
I've been taking
full
things,
body almost every time. And
Yeah. Well, I've been taking things out of your book too. Like,
good,
I mean,
good.
I
I think we complement each other.
I know.
well.
Yeah. I still a lot of his
So they
moves.
have battle ropes, tire lifts, sledgehammers.
Yes.
I saw Mindy rolling around in a chair. They do a lot of ladders, rope, like the rope.
Arlo
like
has
poles or-
super creative, unconventional shenanigans all the days. Like he has slosh pipes, which are pipes filled with water. He has big, huge balls that are like filled with water. Alex, keep a straight face. Just that word. Anyway, sorry. So the first time I actually went and worked out at Competitive Edge, Arlo tells me that somebody there, I don't remember who it was having a birthday. So this is back
I
in
remember.
this is like 2011.
Yeah.
And this is the first time, I don't even remember how I knew about you. It was probably Jeff or Brandon or somebody.
It was through Jeff. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I, went and tried this out, and I had this ego on me because I was like 24, and I'm like bodybuilder, and I'm like I can do whatever. So I go to see Arlo, and he hands me this ball, and it's full of water, and he's like, "It's so and so's birthday, like 33rd birthday. So you're gonna walk up and down those stairs out there 33 times." And I'm like, "Cool, I got this. That's nothing." So I have this ball, and I think it was like a 20-pound. It's probably 20 pounds, like with just water in it.
I don't remember what size.
I think it was the little green one. Like anyway,
That's
so it's
not
like
very heavy.
no, it's like 20 pounds. And
It's probably closer to 40.
so anyway, I'm like walking up and down the stairs. I think I don't remember whose birthday it was, but
It was Conrad.
okay,
Conrad
Conrad
was
was
his name.
8 years old that day for me because I made it 8 times and I tapped out. I was like, "Hey, Arlo, what's next? Because I'm done. I'm done with this." So he has some crazy unconventional workouts, and they kick your butt though. Like you think that, okay, I can do that, and then you end up dying. So anyway, it's fun. It's fun, and I like to steal a lot of his stuff and make my clients suffer. So
Nice.
Yeah, you target a lot more when you're doing functional training rather than just typical bodybuilding, weightlifting.
Right.
And,
yeah,
and it gets kind of tiresome after a while of doing the same
Yeah.
lifts every day.
Yes.
So
and I think too, it's fun.
Yeah.
Right.
It's challenging and it's fun. And like today, Casey and I were sliding around on chairs because Arlo, like you said, you see Mindy sliding around. He has a chair workout. You sit on an office chair and you just
pull yourself
pull
around.
yourself with your feet, and
Yeah.
it's fun. And like you look like you're having a good old time, but it's burning out your hamstrings. So anyway, he has a lot of fun. And he makes it fun too because he's so smiley. If you guys know him, like he always looks happy while he's torturing you. So
How could you not be honest?
I know, like right.
Loves
It's
to
best
watch
job
the
in the
pain.
world.
It really is. It's the best thing. Okay, so Competitive Edge. Let's go back to like you were talking about what to expect from there. So there's functional workouts. It's not your traditional gym, so it's not really open to the public.
Right.
So how
So
does that
we do offer some group classes that anybody can come to. So we used to call them boot camp, but that's kind of a term of the past. I've started calling them Life Fit now, and there's various reasons, but we won't go into that. So Life Fit is our group class.
Okay.
It's overall general conditioning and strength training, and then we do program design a lot of times. So we do individual training definitely where we'll work one-on-one with somebody, and that's a great place for people to start. But I also have a lot of clients that are accomplished athletes. They've been working out for years and years and years, and they don't need me to be right there beside them holding their hand through the workout, right?
Yeah.
And so I do a lot of program design as well, where people will come to me and tell me what their goals are, and we'll assess them and kind of see where they're at, and then we can design a program for them specifically to meet those goals.
Gotcha.
And then they're kind of on their own for that. Like when they're there, we're still there to help or ask questions or whatever, but it's not personal training for the entire time. So,
okay.
And those are kind of only our only 3 options. You have personal training, the group class, or program design.
Okay. And so you do the program design.
Yes.
So they'll come to you and kind of tell you what they're looking for, or you kind of decide.
Yep.
And then they just implement that.
Yes.
And okay.
Yeah. And that's actually one of the things that we did initially. One of the things we saw with traditional gyms that we wanted to change and be different was that so many people buy a membership to a gym, don't go, or they do go and they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
so we thought, well, let's make sure we're in charge of what everyone does so that they actually see results.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I think that's a huge point with traditional gyms and that's what I hear from my clients is, I want to go to the gym, but I don't know what to do.
Right.
And so even if I write them workouts, which I do, sometimes they don't know what those workouts are. So the good thing is I've done this a few times with Arlo when I was training at another gym, and he would go through what each thing was. So I knew, even though I was I wasn't an amateur at the time. So he let me do it on my own, but he showed me what each thing was. So it's kind of cool. Like, it's a really cool process. It's different, and it's nice to just have that one-on-one too for my clients. My clients love the transition because they like the small, it's smaller and it's more personable. And when I worked at the prior gym, when I worked at Snap, it's a public gym. I love Snap. I have nothing bad to say, but everybody was always talking to me when I'd be training clients. So it's kind of nice that it's like, one-on-one setting. So that's good. Okay. So, let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, where's your props? Are your props?
My props.
Okay. So for those listening, we have props here, but they are the books that Arlo has actually written. He's an author. So we have, which one is that? Is that Warrior Core?
This is Warrior Core. Yep.
Okay. So we have Warrior Core, and then we have Battle Tested. So let's talk about Warrior Core first.
Okay. So Warrior Core was kind of a trial run to see how it went before I did Battle Tested. I started Battle Tested first.
Oh.
And then I had no idea what I was doing. And so I'm like, I'm going to write a short one with a lot of pictures and not very many words. So this is primarily pictures, full color photos on every page of core exercises, and then exercise descriptions, but not a lot more beyond just the description and the pictures of the exercise.
Okay.
And it took probably 6 months to write. Of dedicated work and photos and all of that kind of stuff. So it was a trial run setting up for this one. So definitely great core exercises. I think there's like 80 pages of different core exercises.
Very nice.
So it's a great resource for sure. We marketed it toward combat athletes because that's one of my niche, whatever.
I say niche.
I say niche too.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
we're on the same page.
Who knows?
Casey's more professional, so he's going to say niche.
I know. Casey's proper. He's got the finesse.
It was one of my niches, and so that's really the only reason we went with that. I was working with a lot of fighters at the time, so they were my models for the pictures.
Yeah.
But really, they're great core exercises for anybody, and they can be scaled for beginners or more advanced people. There are definitely some more advanced exercises in there, but
like the cover is Arlo holding up a man like with one arm.
I would break.
So I feel like that's pretty advanced, although I want to try it.
You should.
Casey, can I try to lift
definitely.
you? I'll try. I would break something. Very cool. So, okay. So then Battle Tested.
So Battle Tested is more, it's my complete training philosophy, and it's almost overly comprehensive, I think. Like I doubt many people that have bought it have actually read the whole thing, which is fine.
Yeah.
Again, it's a great resource. So it's kind of, the first part is all about mindset and training mindset and just how to overcoming adversity and challenging yourself do hard things because that's where you're going to grow the most, you're
Yeah.
going to learn the most, you're going to make the most progress. So starts with mindset and needs assessment. So again, it's targeted toward military, law enforcement, and fighters, but it's the same way I train everybody.
Yeah, for
So,
sure. Yeah.
and then from there, one great thing about Battle Tested is that we go into a self-assessment where there's a series of, it's a whole section where you look at, okay, what pain do I have, and what's my mobility here and mobility there, and it's all self-tests to kind of see what are the issues that I'm dealing with. And after that, the very next section is all corrective protocols for different issues that you might have. So
Okay.
so you'll have someone with shoulder impingement syndrome. They're like, my shoulder hurts every time I raise it up here, and it aches all the time. And there's a whole section on, okay, these are the exercises that you need to be doing to fix that.
That's very awesome.
Both self-myofascial release, like self-massage work, and then corrective stuff to strengthen the weak muscles that are contributing to that problem. So I think there's 7 different corrective protocols, like feet and ankles, knee pain, hip mobility, lower back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain.
That's
So
fantastic.
so there's a ton of information in there. But I think it's a great resource for sure for anybody to say, okay, this hurts when I work out. And you can look in here and see, well, this is probably what I should try, and it will likely help them with their issues. So.
That is awesome.
And then after that, there's a big section on recovery as well, different recovery techniques, and then there is a 6-month program too, training program that you can follow.
So where can people find these
So
books?
it's on Amazon.
Okay.
This Warrior Core is just on Kindle. And then if you want a print copy, you have to get it at the gym.
Yeah, there.
And then Battle Tested is print or ebook on Amazon.
So we'll take a picture of both of these and put it on our Instagram if anyone's interested, so that you have the covers and you can buy them on Amazon.
Great, yes.
Yeah.
If you are in the Ogden area, it is cheaper to get it from me than on Amazon, so that's an option as well.
Yeah, just come check out the gym.
Yeah, for
29th
sure,
and Washington, Competitive Edge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is good to get the address. You guys need to come and see us there, because now I'm there all the time. So yeah, I pretty much live there now. Okay, so we kind of went into the ins and outs of Competitive Edge, and you do work with a variety of people. There's not just athletes.
Nope.
There's all kinds of people. There's every kind of person.
Right.
Yeah. So
just about everybody.
and you kind of tailor those.
I do. Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
workouts.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, anybody can go. Let's see. We did talk about structural integration. That was one of the questions I had. Like, what was the difference with that? So we do have that. Okay, so yeah, we did want to talk about the importance of doing hard things.
Oh, fabulous!
Yeah, so something that everybody notices about Arlo, anybody that knows Arlo, is he is super positive all the time. Like, he's always smiling, and he's nice to everybody. But he will kick your ass, and like I said, he'll do it with a smile on his face. And I love that post that Brandon comment that Brandon put on Brandon Johnson had put on my post about Arlo. I don't remember exactly what it said, but it basically said that
something was wrong with my brain.
I used to work with Brandon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, you worked with Brandon. Yeah.
Brandon and I went to school together.
Okay.
So we
didn't know that.
We had a lot of classes together up at Weber State.
Oh.
Early morning exercise, physiology, that kind of stuff.
So
that's where I know Brandon from, is from Weber State.
And tangent there, don't you work with students at Weber State?
Yes. Yeah. So every semester I have usually 2 to 3 interns from Weber State.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
From their human performance, health promotion, that kind of major.
Yeah. Yeah, I had met one of your interns, and I didn't even know that you did that. And then he was in there, and he's like telling me who he was. I'm like, oh, surprises.
Yeah, so I've been doing that pretty much the whole time. Like, probably
for years.
14 or 15 years.
That's so cool.
So
cool. Okay, so but anyway, back into your attitude, and you seem like you have, you're a very positive person. You have a super big zest for life. So, but then, you talk about doing hard things. You're always pushing yourself. He always has goals. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records, right?
So, interesting story. I have broken 5 Guinness World Records, and they've disqualified me on every
What?
one.
I didn't know that
Yeah.
because I was there for a few of them.
Disappointing, yes.
What?
Why?
But so, honest opinion, I think it's because I didn't pay to have them come out. That's kind of my own thing.
Some
So they're
politics.
kind of nitpicking technique on things, which is funny because you can submit everything yourself. So you can pay, I want to say it's like $3,000 to have a representative from Guinness Book of World Records come out and supervise your event. They present you the world record right there. Or you can submit all the information yourself, which is what I did on all of the attempts. And it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
And you need video from 2 different angles. They give you a list of the requirements. This is how it's supposed to be done. And they require you to have expert witnesses, which you were.
Right.
So people in the field, like fitness industry type people, saying, yeah, he did great, he did it right, that kind of thing. And so you need 2 of those.
Yeah,
you had
so many.
Yeah, so I needed two witnesses that were experts in the field.
Right.
And then you submit the information. I think it takes like 15 to 16 weeks before they even get back to you on whether or not you did good. And on both times, or on all of them. So 4 of them I did the same week.
Okay.
So those were kind of all together.
Yeah.
But they got back to me for every one of those and said, we need more information from the witnesses. And so, and I
think I
contacted you,
stuff.
you had to resubmit stuff. Yeah. And then I sent that in, and it took a few more weeks. And then they said, nope, you're disqualified because you didn't fully extend your legs on the squat thrust or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
So it was interesting because they make you measure where your feet go. And so my understanding was I had to have my hands on this line and my feet had to clear this line, but I did not fully extend my hips and my knees. Yeah. And so they said, nope, they scratched that one.
Crazy.
But
yeah, because they put a lot of work into that.
Right. Yeah. And then the other one, so I did with 4 different weight packs for squat thrust, most in a minute. And then the other one was Turkish get-ups for as many as you could do in an hour. So it was cumulative weight. So I used a 50-pound kettlebell and just did as many reps as I could. And for that one, you had to pick up the weight between every rep, which is no big deal. But the mistake that I made, and it is in the description, I did it out of order, but it really has no impact on how hard the exercise is. But they want you, after you pick up the weight off the floor, they want you to press the weight and bend your knee before you start the Turkish get up. And I bent my knee first, and then pressed the weight, and then started the Turkish get up. And they said, nope.
That sucks.
And they'll let you appeal it. They'll say, well, you can write an appeal. And so I did write a pretty lengthy appeal saying there isn't a strength coach in the world that would say I didn't do it. Right. That's negligible, that difference. Right. And they said, nope, we're sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I hold no Guinness World Records.
Dang it.
And at this point, I'm kind of like, I don't know that I even care to keep trying, because I'm not going to pay to have them come out, right?
I know, $3,000. That is insane. Well, anyway, I've been witness to the hard things, the hard things that he has done. So let's talk about that. Like, what keeps you motivated? Because you're constantly motivated. It's insane. Like always.
That's an interesting question, because I feel like I'm not always motivated.
Okay. But that's truth. That's truth though.
Yeah. So honestly, hard goals are what keep me motivated. Like, I can very easily become complacent and just kind of go with the flow. But if I have a goal, I'm like, this is what I'm working for. Yeah. That keeps me going and keeps me motivated. And even when I'm not motivated, I'm fairly good at staying disciplined toward that goal. Right. Knowing that, I'm going to do this year, and I got to work my butt off to pull it off. So
yeah, that's very cool. So I'm a lot like that too. Like it's easy for me to become complacent.
I need the goals.
Well, you do it too.
I do.
You really do it. So I feel like that's kind of one reason why we love competing, because it's always a fun new challenge. And but yeah, I think it's great to to keep having goals and pursuing those. But what have you, like, going back to the whole hard things, like doing hard things, don't you think that's important for everybody?
I do.
To constantly
Yes.
create goals?
Absolutely.
That's one thing for my clients. I tell them always create a goal. Like, I don't care if it's a week by week goal, if it's a large goal, but I feel like that's a very important thing. So would you say that that's kind of how you live your life? Like, is that something that you?
Yeah, I think so. And a lot of my goals are fitness related, but again, it keeps me going.
Yeah.
It keeps me fit because I have to be, right. If I don't set big goals and just kind of go with the flow and go and work out a little bit here and there, or even if I'm working out a lot, but I don't have something that seems out of reach, then I'm not going to make progress. But if I have something that I look at and I'm like, that's kind of scary. Like, I don't know if I can pull that off.
Yeah.
Then I know if I'm shooting for it, if I'm going for it, and typically I'll reach my goals, not always, but but if I have that goal that scares me a little bit, that I'm a little uncertain if I can actually pull it off, I'm going to work hard and I'm going to improve my fitness, and I'm going to even setting a good example for my kids, like say on pursuing goals and
making it happen.
I think that's great. So
super.
So is your family pretty active then? Your wife and children?
They're pretty active. Yeah. We're less active with so many kids.
Right.
I could see
it's harder to find time for my wife, especially. Like, she loves to run. She's an ultra marathoner. That's what she loves to do. She loves to run. And we love hiking and all that kind of stuff, but we don't do it nearly as much as we used to.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Our kids are getting older now, to the age where they're enjoying it too, so we're getting out a little more.
That's good.
But it's still hard with the twins.
Right. For sure. So what was you said you like scary goals. What's the scariest accomplishment? What was one that you didn't think you were going to make and then you ended up?
I don't know. So honestly, I might have an issue with overconfidence. Like,
nobody would know that though.
No.
Typically when I set a goal, even if it seems out of reach, I'm confident that I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
Even if I'm a long ways off. And so I guess probably one that's kind of scary now for this year, I would like to do a Turkish get up with a 200-pound barbell.
You did.
So I've done as much as 155.
Okay.
But that's scary because I could injure myself. Like if I don't pull it off, I could hurt myself.
Debilitating.
So is this the one where you were laying down with the big barbell and you were lifting and you had your arms straight, and then standing up with it?
And so you start laying down with the barbell in your hand, arm extended, and then you stand up with it over top of you, over your head. So I mean, that's kind of scary, and just that, like, if something goes wrong and I drop it, I'm probably going to hurt something.
Right.
But but as far as goals that seem kind of out of reach, my other goal for this year seems like that as well. So last year I wasn't sure if I'd pull off my goal either, but it ended up not being so bad. So for my 42nd birthday, I try and do something hard for my birthday that corresponds, like the 33 or 34 for Conrad's birthday.
Yeah.
So I try and do something every year that corresponds with my age. So last year I decided for my 42nd birthday, I was going to try and put a harness on and pull my Toyota Tundra for 4.2 miles. And I knew without working hard, I wasn't going to pull it off.
Why 4 point? Oh, for 42.
4.2 for 42.
Okay.
Yeah. Because 42 miles just sounded like too much.
No, that's too much. We don't want that. Yeah, no.
Anyway, so I got there and I did it, and it wasn't so bad. Like, obviously very fatiguing. I was wiped out afterwards, but I think I could have kept going.
Oh,
and so this year I'm like, well, if I could do 4.2 miles and I felt like I could keep going, I'm going to try for 10 miles this year. And right now that's out of reach. Like, I can't do that.
Okay.
But I think by the end of the year, I'll be able to pull it off.
Okay.
So why not 0.42 miles?
Right.
Because it has to be hard.
Oh, that would have been hard for me.
Yeah. That's insane. That's insane.
That's incredible.
So the strength coach in you, do you work with the guys that are like powerlifters at all?
So I do massage for a lot of power lifters, but
I thought so.
I don't do any training for them.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Because I feel like that's like a power move.
it's kind of more. I mean, it's strength endurance,
Okay.
which is different than powerlifting. Powerlifting is just one rep, as
Right.
heavy as you can go.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I definitely train people to get stronger,
Mhm.
but powerlifting is a sport by itself, and the coaches that coach powerlifting are way more knowledgeable about it.
About that,
About
yeah.
how can we do these 3 lifts.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's the squat, the deadlift, and the bench press.
Yeah.
How can we lift as much weight as humanly possible?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Isn't that your like most favorite question people ask you when they find out you lift? How much can you squat? Or how much
Right,
can you
right.
bench? I'm like, I
Gosh.
don't know.
I know.
Right,
I
right.
don't
I
know.
just squat.
Yeah.
For sure.
Just do it. But yeah, we also do it for different reasons.
Yeah,
So
we do.
We're not trying to.
Yeah.
We're more about the aesthetics, not the functionality. That's a goal of mine, though. I want to be more functional.
That's a goal of mine
Nice.
too.
Yeah.
Big time. Because I hurt everywhere. My body
Oh.
is just taking a beating.
Yeah.
And I want
Right,
to be
right.
more functional,
Hmm.
be more flexible,
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to
be
come
kinder
to,
to myself.
You're gonna have to come see Arlo
I
and
need
me
to.
more over at the gym.
I know.
Yeah.
I need to make standing appointments.
Yes, I know. So do I. It's so hard because ideally, I would love to see Arlo every week for massage.
Right,
right.
I'm so busy, but one day maybe if I slow down, maybe with all of this crazy coronavirus stuff, maybe I'll have some more time off.
There
Yeah,
you go.
everyone-
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so that is actually one of our questions. But how do I get to our Q&A? Where are we
Down.
at on time?
Right here. We're good.
Are we good on time?
Good.
We're getting there. Okay, so I have all of your accomplishments here apparently. He's got so many accomplishments, it's insane. You have a lot of certifications, you got your bachelor's degree, all these things. Sorry, I have this right in the way. So we have Q&A.
Okay.
I had put out on Instagram
Right.
and
right.
on Facebook,
Yeah.
what questions do you guys have for Arlo? So we do have quite a few. I kind of narrowed them out. But since we were just talking about the coronavirus, that was one of your questions, was as a small business owner, a gym owner, what are you doing for prevention for the coronavirus, or what precautions are you
Right. So it's all kind of happened really fast.
Mhm.
Where, like
It's
almost
caught
overnight?
everybody off guard.
Yeah.
So I mean, we have disinfectant wipes that we use all the time. They're
Yeah.
always there. It's not just a coronavirus thing. We always have them.
Always. Yeah.
And we definitely encourage everybody to wipe down stuff that they've used
Yes.
and
Please do.
and I know, right? yeah. And we also have Clorox spray on hand and
hand sanitizer.
hand sanitizer.
We're running a little low because
we
everybody's
I went for more this morning and it was not there at
No,
the store. So.
nothing's there.
Hand sanitizer and toilet paper.
I don't.
And I think, honestly, like, I'm not an infectious disease specialist by any means, and I know very little about the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Because everything you read is biased one way
I
or the
know.
other. So I'm like, I don't know what to believe. But
Right.
kind of the general consensus with everything that I've read is just good hygiene
Yeah.
and making sure that you're washing your hands, not touching your face. So if you could just edit out anything anytime.
And we're touching our
Yeah.
faces.
I was touching my
you
face
can
a
take care of
lot.
that, right, Casey?
Yeah, edit it, Casey. No.
I mean, so just following basic precautions
Yeah.
that you would take with any virus,
Right.
whether it's a cold or
Yeah.
the coronavirus. I mean, just be smart.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we're seeing a lot that everybody's talking about is avoiding big groups of people.
Yep.
And you
We
have
don't have that
you have
here.
the NBA canceling, you have the NCAA March Madness canceling, like
Yep.
everything's shutting down.
Yep.
We're in a very small gym. We
Yep.
rarely have very many people there, and so I mean, we're not a big group setting. There's
Right.
not a ton of people that I don't think we have to worry from.
No.
And I think if everybody's just smart, and
Yeah.
if you're sick, don't come to the gym.
Right.
But-
Yeah, just don't come. Don't come if you're sick. I think that's a good rule of thumb
Shower
anyway.
Yeah,
before
yeah.
and after.
Right, for sure.
But even if we don't have hand sanitizer, because it might be a while before it's back
Right,
in
right.
sick, we do have the sanitary wipes. And yeah, I mean, I told Arlo he's not allowed to close down because I have the code there, so I will be there. Okay, good. I just figured we'd touch on that. That was a question. So next we have, and this is a good question. I get asked this a lot about stretching in general, but it says, let's see, do I want to foam roll, stretch before or after a workout? What would your recommendation be?
So either is good. I typically will foam roll before.
Oh.
and stretch afterwards.
Okay.
But I mean, anytime you foam roll is going to be good.
Let's talk about foam rolling.
So foam rolling is essentially myofascial release. It's self-myofascial release. If you do it right, the idea is that you're going to break up the restrictions in the tissue, the adhesions in the fascia, that kind of stuff, so that everything moves the way that it should. It helps optimize movement at the joint because you're aligning everything, putting everything where it's supposed to be. Right. And there's definitely controversy whether foam rolling really works or not, and I lean towards it does. Yeah. And I just personal experience alone, I feel so much better after rolling that I'm like, I'm going to continue doing it. I don't even care what the research says. Not to say the research says foam rolling does nothing, because I don't know that it does, but there are some people in the industry that are like, foam rolling is pointless, but I know how I feel before and after a foam rolling session, and I'm going to do it. As far as stretching goes, like it used to be everybody did static stretching where you're just holding a stretch and they do it before they worked out. And the problem with that, there's a couple of different things you need to be aware of. Cold tissue does not stretch very well, for one thing. So I don't have anything against static stretching before a workout as long as you're already warm. Oh. So typically what I will do, I kind of have a 3-step process that I don't have. I mean, I never make the time to put everybody through it, but in an ideal world, you would warm up on a machine, get everything warm, then you would foam roll, and then you would stretch. So you're going to stretch better if the tissue is warm and if there aren't any restrictions in the tissue if you've already foam rolled. So, and the foam rolling will be more effective also if you're already warm. So a lot of times I'll just jump straight to the foam roller, but that's not the best. That's not optimal, but that's interesting. So the other issue with static stretching that a lot of people will bring up is that it actually decreases performance because it desensitizes the muscles and prevents them from contracting fully. So like you'll hear people that, especially before performance, like if they have a big game coming up or whatever, they're not going to static stretch before that because it's going to limit their muscles' ability to contract forcefully for, I don't know how long it is. It's not all that long, but if you stretch immediately before you run a sprint or whatever, you might not be as fast as otherwise. However, most people have issues where something's chronically tight. Yeah. Where we'll take hip flexors for example, because many people have really tight hip flexors. So if I have chronically tight hip flexors that are compromising the position of my pelvis, which is going to affect my performance, if I static stretch the hip flexors and kind of inhibit them a little bit, that will probably help. Right? So if you have something that is chronically tight, I don't have a problem at all stretching it before and inhibiting that contraction because it's overactive to begin with.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's very good
that
information.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's something I never really know how to answer. I like my clients to warm up, but obviously we don't stretch or foam roll either because I feel like that takes away time from what we're really there to do. Yeah. But that's good information. So stretching afterward is okay too. So if you were to work out and then stretch afterward, that's I mean, that's great to help just calm everything down, cool down. And again, like I typically will only stretch it places I know are tight. Okay. You'll have people that will go spend a ton of time going through a full body workout stretching stuff that they're already super flexible. And I don't need to. Yeah. They can, that's fine. It's not going to hurt anything, but they don't necessarily need it either. Gotcha. And I'd rather focus my attention and my client's attention on things that really need to be addressed. Right. Yeah, for sure. Okay, great. All right, and then let's see this. That's funny. Is Arlo going to continue to break world records in 2020? So are you? Funny. Are you going? Obviously, the Guinness Book that's kind of out, but are you?
Yeah, I'm kind of torn. I'm kind of torn with that. So I've applied for a couple of other records and to redo the Turkish Get Up one.
I'm sure it ate you alive, like that just made you want to do it again.
It frustrated me, but the logistics of setting up with the witnesses and with the camera from two different angles and submitting all the information, like it's just a hassle. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that again or not. It would be cool. Like since I was a little kid, I'm like, that'd be awesome to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. Yeah. but I don't know if it's worth the effort, honestly.
Right.
I'm like,
I know.
I'll continue to do hard things.
Yeah,
And
there
if
you go.
there are records that I'm like, I think I can beat that, maybe I'll just do it unofficially and
And
not
beat it
worry
anyway.
about the book
Yeah,
anymore.
for sure. For sure. Okay, so I think that's a yes. He's going to continue to break world records. Okay. Oh, so that's a good one. What is your advice for those who have chronic pain but want to be healthy and active?
Chronic pain, the first thing would be to assess, why are you having chronic pain? Is it a age-related thing? Is it just because there's a restriction in the fascia? Like, I will see that a lot with people where they come in with, they've had chronic pain for years, and we can honestly, a lot of times we'll work on something that's been bothering them for years, and they'll feel better and be upset that they didn't come sooner. So
Yeah,
it's
sure.
a lot of times it's easy to address chronic pain.
Okay.
Not always. Like, a lot of times it's just compromised movement patterns because of tight tissue somewhere, and that's something we can totally fix.
Okay.
Sometimes it is an injury, just they're getting old, their body's wearing out, and then we can't do as much for that.
Okay.
Disc issues are challenging.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to do anything for disc issues.
Right.
We can provide some relief just by lengthening the tissue around it, but I mean, if nerve pain is hard, it's hard to fix
pain is
nerve
so
pain.
hard,
If you have a disc that's compressing a nerve, that's something that we just, from a massage standpoint and training standpoint, it's hard to really do anything about it, but there are plenty of different options where we can train around it,
Right.
and not aggravate it and still keep you healthy and fit.
So you would tell those people that maybe deal with the nerve pain or things like that to just work around it and keep moving, because that's going to better
sure.
them anyway. Yeah.
Blood flow. Very
Blood
helpful.
flow.
Blood flow,
Yeah, definitely,
endorphins.
definitely.
Yes.
Yes, for sure. Okay. So if you have chronic pain, go see Arlo. Maybe he can fix you. Thoughts on breathing drills?
Breathing drills.
Yeah.
That's funny. So breathing drills I haven't done a whole lot with. I have done different ones. Like, there's the box breathing that I've tried, and honestly, it makes me almost pass out.
Yeah, I don't know much about this.
So box breathing would be where you inhale for 4 or 5 seconds, hold it for 4 or 5 seconds, exhale for 4 or 5 seconds, and just keep going through that cycle. And it kind of helps you just to, like, it will slow your heartbeat for sure.
Okay.
Like, they use it actually, in some military units, they'll use it to calm, like, when to calm their bodies down for a task. Like, if they
like
just, it kind of dampens the adrenaline response. Like, if they've been running
for hunting,
through the woods, and then they have to stop and calm down to take a shot, right? You don't want your heart rate to be sky high, because then you're
hunting.
fine motor
We've
skills
that.
aren't at their best. So I mean, it definitely has, a lot of people will use it for stuff like that, and just kind of to almost as a meditation kind of thing too, to just calm their body and put them in a different state.
I have to do breathing drills during massage with you.
Right.
Me too.
I see a lot of breathing drills day to day, but
I know.
Yeah. So I mean, I haven't played around with it a whole lot. I know some very basic things, and I've tried them here and there, but it hasn't been a huge part of what I do. So. And maybe it should be. I should probably spend more time with it.
Maybe research it a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know much about it. The only thing I really know is the breathing drills for abs. Like you know, the
vacuum.
The vacuum and that. I don't have patience for that one.
Right.
That one's hard.
It's like, it's not burning or anything.
I
It's
know.
not working.
I'm done. Moving on.
That's funny.
But yeah, okay, interesting. So then we have
I totally read this and thought, what can I do to become more friends?
You're like, what is that?
We want to be
I need more
friends.
friends, Arlo. No, this one actually says, what can I do to become more flexible? And that's something
I need that bad.
Yeah, she wants to know more about flexibility.
Okay.
Just stretching?
Yeah, definitely. So this is where I would start with foam rolling. I'd do a combination of foam rolling or massage, either way, and stretching afterwards, because a lot of times there are restrictions in the tissue itself where just static stretching isn't going to release that, but the pressure of foam rolling or a myofascial release massage or something like that can release the restriction. And immediately improve your flexibility, right? So
Mhm.
another thing that we do a lot of is kind of address neurological guarding. So a lot of times people's flexibility issues, they think they have tight hamstrings or whatever. A lot of times, frequently, it's actually a neurological issue where the proprioceptors won't allow them the range of motion. This happens a lot of times after an injury. Like, for example, if I hurt my shoulder, I know it hurts to do this, so I'm not going to do that, right? And so over time, I'm going to lift less and less because I'll start, that might hurt this, and so I'm not going to do that movement. And with restricted movement, when I'm not moving, then the fascia will actually become more and more unhealthy. Movement keeps the fascia healthy. And then you can be dealing with a structural issue as well, where the fascia is binding up and you're forming scar tissue and that kind of stuff. So movement is important, but we can address that, like the combination of the, so PNF stretching we called, I incorporated a lot in the massage where, and you both had this, you might not know when it was happening or what, but where I have you push against me and then relax and we stretch. So that's actually, it's triggering one of the neuroreceptors that helps to relax the tissue. So you have Golgi tendon organs, which prevent against overcontraction by relaxing the muscle. And so that's what we're trying to activate, is the Golgi tendon organ. So when I have you push against me and I don't allow it to move, and then you relax, the Golgi tendon organ says, I don't want to hurt myself by continuing to push hard, so I'm going to relax this muscle
and increases range of motion.
And allow for more range of motion.
So cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, static stretching, I think it can be good, but honestly, I don't know that you would increase flexibility a whole lot with just stretching. Yeah. Some people, I mean, there are people that spend hours or an hour a day stretching, and they're going to get results. But those of us that
are busy,
that reach for our toes for 20 to 30 seconds and then go on to another stretch, that's really not going to do a whole lot. That's totally me too.
So I think a lot of my flexibility is my hips. When I was born, I came out breech, and they ended up doing an emergency C-section, and my hips were dislocated as a baby.
Oh, wow.
So I haven't really had what I can think of is hip problems, but the more active I am, I think a lot of it resides in my hips and my hip flexors.
Probably so.
So that's where a lot of my restrictions are.
I was going to ask you is where your flexibility, like where you get frustrated with your lack of flexibility.
It's mostly my hips.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
And, one thing that maybe we'll just point out to anybody that's watching. So typically you can go through the body level by level, and joints alternate between needing more stability and more mobility. And if you have an issue with either one of those, it can affect everything else. So like your ankle joint, for instance, is a very mobile joint. It's supposed to be. If the mobility is not there, you're going to start having foot problems or knee problems. The knee needs to be very stable. And if it's not very stable, then you're going to hurt your knee probably. The hip needs to be very mobile. And people with restricted mobility there can have low back pain. They can have knee pain. That's
where my lower back pain comes from.
Yeah.
And my knees probably.
So honestly, the first thing I look for when somebody comes to me with low back pain is how mobile are their hips. And that's the first thing we'll address. And it's not always that. That's a good place to start.
Yeah.
So from yesterday, would you say that they're not very mobile?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So you had mentioned too with my massage yesterday, we both got massage. I didn't even realize that we both got massage the same day. You had mentioned that it was like my hip flexors that were super tight, or was that what it was?
So your glute medius, which it does a lot of things. It flexes the hip, but it also extends the hip and abducts the hip. So it does a lot of things.
There was something in
your hip flexors. So your TFL was pretty tight.
Okay.
So it runs from the top of the pelvis down to the knob on the femur that sticks out on the side, the greater trochanter. So that's a hip flexor, and when that's tight, what will happen is it starts to tilt the pelvis forward, which changes the movement pattern, both at the hips, the lower back, the knees. It goes both ways from there. And
but you had made a comment that
was it your psoas? Did we work your psoas? Because that's another deep internal hip flexor that will.
Is that the belly one?
I
Yes,
think
you
yes.
loved it, huh?
Oh, we both were like
It's
tapped
magical,
out.
let me tell you.
Yeah. Oh. But he was talking about that there was, you said a couple reasons why that could be tight, and one of them you said was if there's disc issues, or if you're doing too much leg day, which is probably my issue. But is that what you're kind of saying? Is there needs to be mobility in one place, and then like with your
stability in another? So
like
so your hips should be mobile, your lower back should be stable,
right? Okay,
to protect it. And so what I was talking about with you, and this isn't to say that I think she has a disc problem.
No,
I was just making a point that someone with a disc problem, and a lot of times disc problems happen in the lumbar spine. L4, L5 is really common.
It's my mom's.
When the lumbar spine is unstable, the body will compensate to try and fix it. The psoas muscle, which is a deep internal muscle, attaches to the lateral and anterior lumbar spine. So a lot of times the psoas will really tighten up to stabilize the spine, and then it causes more issues.
So that could be a reason.
So,
yeah. We had kind of talked about that, but that just made me think of the stable.
Interesting.
Versus...
I'm going to go into this for a second though. With the psoas, I know I talked to you about digestive issues, so I have a bulging disc in my L4. So if my muscles right there are trying to compensate for my L4, could that be causing my digestive issues?
I'm by no means the person to ask, but it seems like it.
It could be, because that was in 8th grade when I had problems with my L4, and I would be sitting in class and I could not sit still because my nerve would run down my butt cheek or on my knee and into my foot. And I went through physical therapy and everything, but it wasn't too far away from that. Well, high school, and I started having issues with my digestive system. So
I wonder if they are connected. That's interesting.
We need to look into that.
I'm gonna have to do some research.
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy to me that you remember all these terms. I've taken these terms. You've taken these terms.
I did more animals.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So did you do like the anatomy lab?
I didn't do human anatomy. Well, in high school, but I didn't go any further than in college. It was all animal stuff, physiology, animal physiology.
Okay. So yeah, I had to know all of these terms, and I forget all. It's like a second language.
I forget stuff too all the time.
It doesn't seem like it.
That's why you have posters in your office.
I deal with it all the time though. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly. It's like Spanish. Like
it's something where I'm using it every day. So that's why I remember.
It's literally another language, and so you have to use it. So it just impresses me because I don't remember. Okay, so we have the next one was functional training in pregnancy. So this cute girl I have had asked this, but she's pregnant and she's never done functional training. Well, maybe she has a little bit, but she's kind of done more traditional lifting and things like that. So what would you say about starting that, or what would you say about that?
So kind of the general recommendation has always been you don't want to increase what you're doing. Like you don't want to
or change,
kind of stick with what you're doing.
Because if you put your body into shock, your body is not going to respond well to it, especially while pregnant. So
maybe wait to try something new. But if they were doing it before,
if you were doing it before, you can certainly continue. And that being said, like I think I don't see a problem as long as the intensity is super low with starting to incorporate more functional movements. Even if you haven't been doing them, you just have to be really cautious of the intensity.
Okay. A lot of it you can just do, like something you said, I got to remember what you said. You were talking more so about like smaller movements and kind of like more intricate things. So I feel like if you're pregnant and you're just working on mobility and stuff like that for training, like that's okay. It's just more of the heavy. Heavy lifting.
No weird
we wouldn't start you deadlifting heavy if you have not
Turkish
been deadlifting.
get-ups.
Turkish get-ups.
Maybe wait on that. Okay, cool. So it's pretty much the same rule of thumb as it would be for traditional lifting.
But I don't see a problem at all. Like if you decided to make the transition from isolating body parts to just doing like full body workouts instead of this is going to be my weekly split. I don't think there's a problem.
Just like body weight and low intensity.
Cool. So 3 favorite functional workouts.
Workouts or just exercises?
I don't know.
Exercises.
Yeah.
So I do love Turkish get-ups.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
I can't do those though.
No. I really like deadlifts. I think they're a great exercise. And then probably like push-up variations.
Okay.
Just different variations of push-ups.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Awesome. I do those things. I don't do Turkish get-ups. I've actually been wanting you to show me like correct.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was watching.
Well, I do them wrong. So.
Oh yeah, you do them wrong. Yes. No, but I actually watched a girl do it with a shoe. Like she just was holding the shoe, just to kind of get it. And I'm like, I need to try that, but I would like you to supervise me.
Okay.
So I don't do anything.
Don't hurt yourself with a shoe.
No, it's possible. It is me we're talking about, so you never know. Okay, thoughts on cardio. This is funny because I remember like one of our first interactions, I was posting about like the copious amounts of cardio I was doing. And Arlo had commented like, why are you doing cardio or something? And it was like, duh, I have to get lean. This is forever ago. But anyway, so what are your thoughts on cardio?
I don't like it very much.
I don't either.
The 4.2 miles pulling is Dakota.
Right. And so honestly, cardio is one of those terms that could mean a lot of different things.
Yeah.
The traditional, when people talk about cardio, most people think about being on a treadmill, being on an elliptical, a stair stepper, that long, slow duration kind of. And I don't do hardly any of that.
Right. Yeah. He has a broken treadmill that we have to push.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And we use it more than when it worked, honestly. So.
Right. I use it more than I would a treadmill that works for sure.
Yeah. So I think you get a lot of the same benefits by doing higher intensity things like more interval style training. I'm more likely to do that too because it's quick than jumping on the treadmill for an hour or 45 minutes. Or I think the longest I've ever even run on a treadmill is a mile. Yeah. And it drove me crazy.
Yeah,
I'm
it's so boring.
I hate
it. Yeah.
Well, and then the high intensity stuff. A friend at Snap mentioned that if you were doing
shout out Joey.
Yeah. If you were doing high intensity, you're actually burning your fat. You're breathing out the carbon. Is that right? You're burning fat faster because you're breathing heavier and pushing out more carbon. So it's better for you. I guess I'm not probably saying the research right, but there's a research paper on it.
Yeah.
But that high intensity does burn fat better because you're breathing heavier.
It taps into your fat quicker.
So, okay. Yeah. And I didn't realize that. So my like slow, steady cardio for a long duration versus interval training, whatever you want to call it. You're going to burn more calories. So there, for a long time, there was this mystical fat burning zone of your heart rate, 55 to 65% of your max, whatever. That is where, of the calories you're burning, the greatest percentage comes from fats. And so everybody would want to train in that range because this is what burns fat better. But at the end of the day, more calories is going to burn more fat. And so the higher intensity stuff is going to burn more calories. Your metabolism is going to remain elevated after you're done for longer. And so definitely like for fat loss, I would do more of that too. That's not to say like long, slow endurance is bad necessarily, but I would prioritize other stuff first.
Yeah. Like I think it's good for your cardiovascular system.
Right.
But otherwise, I mean.
Well, and for people starting out, I feel like
for sure,
you're moving, you're doing something.
I wouldn't start somebody on HIIT training.
They
Okay, this
would
is
never
going to be more effective. Let's start here.
I do.
Well,
Do they come back doing HIIT training?
And so, so back to the functional movement, full body workouts. A lot of times that's how we get our cardio. Like if we move, so traditional bodybuilding, you're going to do an exercise, you're going to rest a couple minutes, you're going to come back to the same exercise for another set, and you'll do however many sets, then move on to another exercise. We will, and part of this is just maximizing my time with the client too. I can get way more work done if I combine exercises, right? So a lot of times I will do like a lower body exercise, then a pulling exercise, then a pushing exercise, because they don't conflict with each other. They complement each other. While I'm doing the upper body exercise or the upper body pulling exercise, I'm resting for my next set of the lower body exercise and kind of that. So by just combining 3 or 4 or 5 exercises into more of a circuit, I'm keeping the heart rate up. And so I'm getting my cardio while lifting, because I'm not stopping and resting all of the time. So, and obviously that changes. Like if I'm trying to if my number one goal is to make someone stronger, that's not what I'm going to do. But for most people that are trying to become healthier and trying to improve their cardiovascular health and trying to lose weight or whatever, it's a great way to train.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
love that kind of training. That's my favorite.
I do too. I agree with that. Okay, so I think that's it for our questions. But
any other topics you want?
Yeah, is there anything you want to touch on?
Not necessarily.
You're good. Okay, so we do have our affirmations and goals that we do with all of our guests. We do it with our episodes. So affirmations, are you familiar with those?
I've heard of them.
Guys are like,
Tell
oh
me
gosh.
more.
You just have to affirm either something that you want to become or accomplish, or you have to say something good about yourself, like recognize yourself. I know, yeah, it's a weird concept, but we do it because we want to be more positive overall. We want to believe that we can do hard things, and
we want to be nicer to ourselves.
Yeah, we want to be nicer to ourselves because it's easy to be not nice to yourself. So you want to start, or do you want us to start? So
maybe you start, and then I'll kind of see how it goes.
I'll start. Okay. So mine just is going to be a simple one. I love the color of my skin.
Oh,
yeah,
I do too. I love
the color of your skin.
No, your skin. I like my skin when I've gone tanning, but no. Okay, so yeah, I like that. I'm
a natural olive.
Yes, pretty skin. Let's see. My affirmation. I would have to say I like that I'm a positive person.
Yay.
Yeah, because I'm pretty positive. I like to look on the bright side. I'm optimistic. So.
You said that last week.
No, I didn't. Did I really? Is that what I said with you? Those are the things I like about myself. No, was it really? Okay.
He's keeping tabs on you.
He doesn't know. He just said he doesn't know.
Oh.
Okay. Well, it's positive this week. And if
Mrs. Brightside.
That's a nickname. If I'm being repetitive, then I'll do 2 next week. So we'll have to go back and listen. Your turn.
Okay. I like that I'm easily amused.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can entertain myself really well.
I can see that.
That's awesome. Yes.
I like that too.
Yeah, I like that. Okay,
that's
and
a
then
good one.
We have goals, so we need to set a goal for. I don't care if it's like a goal for this year or if it's the week or what.
Like a specific one or just a general.
Whatever goal you wanna.
I can't remember mine from last week.
Shoot.
Was mine about flexibility?
You're supposed to remember goals.
I know. We need to write these down.
Mine was to eat the food.
To eat the food.
Mine is I'm gonna just keep being repetitive about this. I am so wanting to get my digestion under control. So I'm gonna do lots of research. That's my goal.
Well, I'm gonna tell your husband to stop buying candy.
I know.
We get here and husband has like just loads a bunch of candy on the counter.
Casey's eating it right now.
Because Casey's like all about the gains right now. And the carb
not
loading.
about the gains.
I know, right? Okay, so digestive health under control. I think mine really is going to be to foam roll more. I was diving into Arlo's YouTube, which by the way, go and check out his YouTube. And it's battle tested.
Battle tested book. So it goes along with the book here.
Oh,
and
nice.
a lot of the exercises and corrective stuff and stretches and all of that stuff that's in the book is on the battle tested book YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So great resource. I show you how to do everything, kind of talk you through
great.
it.
Yeah.
You'll love it too. I've been doing that. And foam rolling and stretching after my workouts and I've noticed.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
My goal is to continually add new videos. I need to get better about that. Maybe that's it. There we go.
There's your goal.
There's my goal. It just happened. So,
yeah.
Right now, I don't know how many videos there are. There's probably like 130 videos right now, but there are still things that I need to make videos about. So there you go. That's my goal.
There's your goal. Love that. And my goal is to keep watching those because
great.
I really
I need to start.
Yeah. Like I dove into it and I was like, I'm going to get it just motivated me. I went and got my foam roller out. We keep it behind the couch and I went and got it and I foam rolled everything. So that's going to be, I need to at least do it weekly because right now I'm doing it like once a year. So
weekly would be better.
Weekly would be better. So that's going to be the goal. I need to like pinpoint a day where I can do it. So for now, and then I'll move to more than that in a week.
There you go.
Right now it's once a week. So yeah. And then that's your goal. That's what you,
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Wait, one thing that we talked about with Arlo. Okay, so you're all about functional training, and creativity.
Right.
So looking around Alex's house right now, let's like specifically stick to like this area that the camera can see. If you had to like find a prop or something.
Not Bobette.
Oh shoot! That is exactly what I was going to use.
Yeah.
Meet Bobette, the bobcat.
Yeah, that's Bobette.
Benny's not here.
Yeah, Benny's sleeping. What would you like? Give us a little. What would you do? Find us a workout.
Fitness wise,
yep.
I would definitely utilize the chair.
What would you do with the chair?
I would do Bulgarian split squats. I would do overhead carries.
You would carry the chair around. Like...
I would probably do it with
Okay.
Overhead.
Okay.
With one of us sitting in it.
I mean, if you wanted, we could do that probably, but
she's the one.
No, I'd be scared.
Yeah, so I mean, like even just holding a stationary object like a chair doesn't have to be a weight. Any kind of load overhead is going to engage the core.
Your core.
So I would definitely do stuff like that. I mean, you can hold it and do lunges. You can do whatever.
Yeah.
But
endless possibilities.
Yeah.
It's almost like you've been thinking about this. Because he's just like, bam, this is what I would do. He's like, I'm going to use that chair.
No, well, so honestly, chairs are there's a ton of things you can do with the chair. You can do push-ups with your hands on it, with your hands on the floor and your feet on it. You can do dips. You can do.
That's my goal. I'm going to do squats, a full week of working out with just a chair.
With just a chair. I think it's
yep.
Great. Yeah. So maybe it's kind of cheating because I do use chairs a lot for travel programs. People will come to me a lot. I'm on the road a lot. What am I going to do? I'm like, you have a chair. I know that. So we're going to use it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good because I get that same question.
But if you want to pick me something else, I can. Or if you want me to pick something else, I can.
I know, like, chairs are good. Something else. Yeah, no, that's good. That's very.
I would never have thought. The chair didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
I'll do lunges around the kitchen.
Right,
yeah,
right.
lunging.
And body weight stuff without anything too is
right.
Great. There's so many different variations of lunges and push-ups.
Yeah, you don't have to have a gym.
Things you can do. No, not at all.
Right. Yeah.
So that's going to be our goal, though. We'll post it on our Instagram page and do a full workout with a chair.
Yes, with a chair. I like it.
Yes, I love it. That would be awesome
for all y'all.
Okay, so all right. So if you guys want to find Arlo, obviously we did talk about you can find him at 2909 Washington Boulevard, Ogden. Is that the address?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then it's funny because a lot of my clients that I brought over from the last gym I was at, they are like, is it in this business building? Right. You know, and it is.
It does not look like a gym from the outside.
Yes, it's actually where Casey works in that building, and it's straight business upstairs, but downstairs we have a gym.
Yes.
So it's right when you walk in. It's, what is it, Suite 103?
103.
Okay. Yeah. And then let's see, we've got YouTube, Battle Tested Book, and then Instagram. See, and I didn't even know that until recently, that you had a Battle Tested Book Instagram.
Right.
So that's fun. And then you can follow him at, what is it? It's A
Gagestein.
Okay, so it's AGAG. Or no, sorry, AGAGESTEIN. So that find him on Instagram. And then, of course, Competitive Edge Fitness on Facebook. So, and then Battle Tested as well as Arlo's personal page. And then do you have a specific, I guess, Arlo Gagestein 1@gmail.com is where you can reach out to him. Okay.
And I'm not super good about checking emails, but I do check them once every couple weeks.
I feel like he's my spirit animal. We're like the same person. It's so funny. Okay, yeah. So reach out to him. If you can't get a hold of him, maybe contact me. If you can't get a hold of me, contact Alex.
There you go.
Or the Finessology podcast on Instagram.
There you go.
We both check it.
Yes. So. Yep. So, okay. Well, thank you so much, Arlo.
Absolutely.
We're so happy to have you. Yes. Okay.
And make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube, The Finessology Podcast, and that you are following us on Instagram at The Finessology Podcast. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
You nailed it. We're good. Yes.
All right.
Perfect.
Thanks,
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.